Hello everybody, coming at you with all my Smite. How you guys doing today? Today we're out for a ride on the Yamaha YZ450fx big wheel dual sport. Man, that's a mouthful. And I want to say that this is going to be one of the first of me breaking down this vehicle. Hopefully not physically, but in a ideologically sense. I've worked on this bike literally all year. Like, this thing was supposed to be put together in a month. It didn't happen that way, and it has been extremely stressful. There's several points where I just totally regretted even trying to make this a reality, but in the end I'm glad I did. It's great for content. People love it, I love it, and everywhere I go people are just amazed at how it looks and at what I am capable of doing with it. First of all, I bought this bike for $6,000 out the door. The big wheel kit I ended up spending like $3,300 on. And then all of the different lights and doodads, I want to say I'm in this bike for about 11 grand. I could break it down even further if I had the time and go over all the receipts, but we're just gonna say 11 grand. Yes, you could go out and buy a brand new bike for 12 grand. Like, actually these brand new bikes are not even that cheap. Like, you can buy a KTM. Well, and the whole point of the story is I didn't want a normal bike. I rode this bike for actually quite some time in its stock form, and nobody cared. You know, I mean, yes, it's a really cool bike, but the fact of the matter is being a content creator, you have to be constantly upping your game. You have to do something to keep yourself interesting and fresh. I mean, yes, you can, if you're good, you can roll out on your personality or your good looks. Well, it turns out I have neither of those. So I have to go out and buy fancy things that I can barely afford in order to make content. So I never actually got a chance to break down how the first ride impressions or anything on this video, because when I first got the bike, I slapped the big wheel kit on and I took it out and it handled like absolute garbage. And I was believing all the naysayers. They're like, well, that's what it's gonna handle like. Who would have guessed? Like, you're altering the entire suspension and geometry of the bike because you're changing the tire size. I'm going from a 21-inch wheel to a 12-inch wheel and a 25-inch tire, which is actually not the same size as your 21-inch, despite, you know, them being relatively close. I'm not sure the exact height measurement of a 21-inch. So I went out and I was doing like 40 miles an hour. Now, granted, this is a dual sport. I have to take this on the road. And I was doing 40 miles an hour, and it's the front end is just walking everywhere, like side to side tank slapper mode as soon as you did like 50. And I'm like, this is garbage. And I was doing a dual sport ride the next, like literally 2 days later. Like, this is how fast this thing was supposed to be built. When I started like 6 months earlier, I get this all built and it's not working properly. Of course, I didn't have the steering stabilizer, that more parts that try to fix the problems. I took it back and I said, Dad, this is horrible. I said, we need to figure it out. We ended up setting the sag, and that pushed the speed I could go up to about 60. Granted, if you've seen my first videos, you've seen the giant gnarly tires that I had on this sucker, and I changed the tires since then. But those tires literally weigh like 37 pounds a piece. And then I got the tires that I have on now that are half of that. All of that weight and the profile of the tire, the thickness, those are 6 plies. It made the bike not even lean. Like, you had to push it into corners. It's all stuff that I just got used to and I started sending it. Anytime I would progress over that speed, it would just tank slapper. So I'm like, okay, we'll get the steering stabilizer. I got this all figured out, all ordered. I had to work with them. This is actually the mount from a four-wheeler, Yamaha four-wheeler, because my bars spacing is a little bit different on these new triple trees. So we got that all measured out. We got it all like dialed in. I was still getting tank slappers with those new tires, even holding this, but I figured it out. I realized that it wasn't the handlebars that were doing the wobble. The whole entire bike was shifting side to side because we were riding on those treads. So I'm like, okay, we'll get a new tire. So I got new tires, and now I can do about 80 mile an hour with no issue. The speed rating on these tires is an F, which is rated for 50 miles an hour. Oh well. I can't get higher ones that are rated for 87 if I jump up to a 4-ply, but I'm gonna wear the crap out of these and then go on to there. But one thing I had issues with is when I was riding off-road, the front end was pushing out. Like I try to do a turn and it'd push right out, and it was just annoying because I couldn't get any speed. I could go fast, but not as fast as I could because my front tire is sliding out. It turns out it's because when you put a mud tire on, the tread space is phenomenally different. So I swapped that over, and now I got an actual all-terrain tire on the front of the Kenda Pathfinder, and that makes a huge world of a difference. I can actually push it on the trails a lot more than I could with the previous Obor Ripple, which are still a phenomenal tire, and I'm going to stud them up and use them in the winter. I really do enjoy this bike, and it just brings so much joy to everybody who sees it in real life. When we were riding up in I guess it's down in Central City, everyone we saw was just like, holy crap, look at that thing. And that's the kind of reaction that you're shooting for when you're making content. Now yes, honestly, I could probably ride this bike better, way better stock. Like I could probably get good because, you know what, the Yamaha team, their engineers, they knew what they were doing when they built that bike. Yes they did. But it's just like every single other bike out there. There's nothing unique about this bike until you slap a big wheel kit on it, and then you're just ripping across the countryside. Right now I'm going much slower than I actually could do because I literally have a giant pole strapped to the side of me trying to get footage. But it's just been such a learning experience, and then waiting for parts. It's just been a slow process, but I finally got this thing dialed in. It's literally rideable now. I had to fix a coolant issue. I had to fix a water pump. You know, it's been a crazy year. So I apologize that I haven't got a breakdown of what this vehicle actually is, because it's just been a wild year. I literally spend one weekend trying to fix the bike. Actually, it's more than one weekend, and then you ride it for 2 days, and then you have to fix the bike again. And that's the nature of the beast. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a great time. Don't forget to shop Revzilla using the links, because that supports the channel, and I much appreciate it, because then I get to do more. So have a nice day, and God bless.